Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to share with you 55 Amazon KDP tips to help you succeed on Amazon. So in case you're new to our channel, Cleo and I have been publishing on Amazon KDP since 2019, and since then one of our first accounts has sold 45,000 books and our second account has sold 175,000 books, and recently one of our books became a top 100 bestseller in Amazon USA, so that was a really proud moment for us. Amazon KDP tip number 27 is to optimize your book cover for the different seasons and different time periods of the year. So for example, if you have a word search book or a coloring book or activity book and you have a normal design, for example, during the Christmas time period, you can consider having a winter themed cover or snow or Christmas themed, just something that goes along with the time periods. And that can also help you stand out from the competition to get more sales, to get more click-through rates, and just be different than the other books. And then once the time period is over, changing it back to the original cover. But obviously when you change different covers, you also need to see if the sales are increasing or decreasing. Sometimes if you change the cover, it's also possible for the sales to go down. So then you would want to revert back to the original cover where your sales were doing the best. But I definitely recommend trying out different themes for different time periods and seeing how your sales compared to just a regular cover. KDP tip number 28 is to optimize your book title for both the reader and the search algorithm. So there's a fine balance between having keywords in it, but also making it attractive for the reader. Because obviously the reader has to like your book title to be interested enough to click on your listing and then to buy the book. But the title can also play a big role and a big purpose for the search algorithm to understand what your book is about, especially for low and medium content books. So we do recommend having your keywords, your main keywords in your title or subtitle if possible, if it makes sense, because that can help you with your organic rankings potentially. But then you also don't want to keyword stuff and make it unnatural for a reader to not even be interested in clicking in your book. So the best of both is to make a title that has your keyword, but it's also attractive and looks clean, and make the customer enough interested to click on your listing. And this is especially important for mobile apps. We touched on that a little bit earlier, but on the Amazon mobile app, the title comes off much sooner. So you also want to consider what your first words or keywords are that will be shown on that listing for the mobile app. So put your most important keywords or the best sounding words at the beginning of your title, so what the customer sees is already interesting enough to click on it. KDP tip number 29 is to translate your book into other languages. And this you can do whether it's a notebook, a puzzle book, or a how-to book, or a novel. So you can translate all books. Obviously, if it's a notebook, the only thing you have to translate is your title and a description. So it's much easier. If it's a puzzle book, like a Sudoku book, for example, you also don't have to translate much, mostly the title and description as well. If you have word search book, for example, you would have to translate the different word searches, the word lists into the different languages, and then recreating the book for that. Also not too hard to do. And if you have a how-to book, obviously you will have to hire someone to translate the book professionally. You obviously can use DeepL or Google Translate, but it won't do a perfect job. So I highly recommend that when you do translate your book, that you make it to the best possible quality, so there's no mistakes and mistranslations. But while Amazon in the USA is the biggest, UK is also quite large. Obviously that's English, but then right after that you have Germany. Amazon Germany is huge. So there's a huge market and huge potential for you to also sell books there. Obviously you also have the French market, you have the Italian markets, the Spanish markets in Europe, so you can translate your books into all the different languages. But if you're just going to consider one language, I would recommend starting with Germany, just because it has the biggest markets outside of the English-speaking population. And Cleo and I have gotten tens of thousands of sales in the other markets, so it's definitely worthwhile. And for some books, the effort to create a translated book is very low. So once you have a high quality book, getting that to sell in other countries is much easier. So for example, if you create one high quality coloring book, you can have it as a paperback and a hardcover. So you can have 2 listings in America, you can have 2 listings in the UK. And if you translate it into Germany, France, Spain, and Italy, just those languages alone, you can have another 8 listings. So altogether, you can have 10 books for the work you did for one book. So highly recommended, huge growth tip for us. And I think you would see good results if you also did that, especially with your best-selling books that you already have published. KDP tip number 30 is to be your own competitor. So if you have one activity book that is ranking high in one niche and getting you lots of organic sales, then you can create a similar book for the same niche with a similar title, similar subtitle, slightly different, hopefully even better. Same 7 backend keywords, similar description, and seeing if you can get that book ranking on page 1 as well. Because if there's 48 search results, sometimes less, but sometimes there's 48 results, then you can have many listings that are your own ranking on page 1, because there's no reason to only have one book in a niche that's giving you sales and giving all the other sales to your competition. So the more books you can rank on page 1 for your best niches, the better. Obviously, I'm not telling you to spam a niche. I'm not telling you to create hundreds or thousands of books. But what I am saying is that if you have a book that's doing well, is to create multiple other books that are similar to try and rank on those things. So the ideal scene would be having a few books that can rank within the first 10 spots on Amazon for a search result. KDP tip number 31 is to use KDP Select to boost your visibility and promotion if your book qualifies for it. It is just one way to gain more visibility, get more sales, and get more people to buy your books. And then obviously if you're building a brand, those buyers are worth a lot more because they're more likely to buy your other books and other future products as well. So the more eyeballs you can get on your listing, the better, even if it's free, even if you're not making profit on it. But the more sales you get, the better it is in the long run for you to have more and more sales and more customers. KDP tip number 32 is to publish in different book formats. So with most Amazon KDPers, what you see is them publishing paperback books because those are the cheapest and potentially the highest in profits. But not every book type does the best as a paperback. So some categories or some types of books can also do better as a hardcover, even if the prices are higher and even if the profits are less. But there's definitely lots of opportunities. So if you're doing picture books, for example, or coffee table books, those can do really well in hardcover formats. If you're doing planners, those can potentially also do well in hardcovers. Or if you're doing like a special edition cover or something like that for the holidays or for Christmas, those can do well as hardcovers. And then also obviously it goes vice versa too. If you have a hardcover book already, try doing it as a paperback, because the advantage would be obviously that it can be much cheaper and you can also have higher profits. So always try different book formats to see which does the best, and ideally you can get a few of them selling all organically on Amazon for your listing. Amazon KDP tip number 33 is that if you get a 1-star review for a brand new book that you just launched on Amazon, to consider unpublishing it and starting fresh. Sometimes your competitors can leave a 1-star review trying to attack you and stop you from doing well. Or sometimes maybe you made a mistake in your book that should have been corrected that you missed while doing quality control checks. Or sometimes what can also happen that the print quality of the book is really bad, which is obviously out of your own control, but people will still leave a 1-star review. And once you have a 1-star review as your only review, the chance of that book doing well is really low. The only way it could do well in the future is if you have some plan of getting lots of reviews. And then if those reviews coming in are going to be 5 stars or at least 4 stars, so your average star reviews goes up. But I've never seen a book do well if it's lower than 3.5 star average. And if you look at the top 100 list on Amazon, it has an average rating of 4.7 stars in every single book. I've worked this out, did the calculations on it, it was exactly 4.7. So when you're publishing on Amazon KDP, you want to aim for 5 stars because that is just going to give you the highest click-through rate and the highest potential of getting sales for the long run. And if you don't have that, if you have a 1-star review for some reason, consider unpublishing it and then republishing it once you have improved your listing if and when needed. And then that way you can start fresh without that 1-star review and still have the same chances of doing well with it. Amazon KDP tip number 34 is to split test your cover for better results. So what I mean by that is if you have a book that's doing really well, let's just say, for example, it's a red cover, try making a blue cover version for it or a black version for it or whatever color you want to try, or just a fully different design. And then once that change is live on Amazon, track your bestseller rank to see if your sales are increasing or decreasing for maybe 1 week. And if you see the sales improving, then you know you have a better cover now that's getting better click-through rate and better purchase rate. And then you can leave that. And if it doesn't do as well, you can go back to the original cover. But the whole point is to try and make even better covers that gets better click-through rates and better sales conversion rates than what you already have. But obviously, as Amazon KDP gets more and more competitive, you want to find a way to be more competitive and have an advantage over your competition. And since you can't change the title, at least for paperback and hardcover books, the one thing you can change is the cover and the description and the A+ content. So those things you can play around with and see how you can improve it. You can obviously also change the price. But the whole point here is to split test and see what gets the best results and try to optimize it continuously to get better and better results for your book. Amazon KDP tip number 35 is to use Author Central to create a author profile for your top 3 pen names or brands. And then for each of those, you can link all of your books together. And then what that does is that if a person likes your book, they can click on your author name or pen name on the Amazon search results page for your listing. And then when they click on your name to see more, they can see all of the books that you've published under that pen name. And in that way, they can also find more books. They can buy more books from you and overall help you get more organic sales and better rankings on Amazon. Amazon KDP tip number 36 is to stay up to date and in the know about Amazon KDP terms and condition changes and all of their guideline changes. Amazon KDP has been known to update their terms and to create different conditions and different rules about Amazon KDP, about your book and what's allowed and what is not allowed. And the reason this is important is because you want to make sure that your books are always in compliance with Amazon. And if for whatever reason they're not compliant, I would highly recommend unpublishing the book, taking down the 7 backend keywords, making those empty, taking down the description. You can change your book cover to just a blank page, just so there's no attention on that book and give you the best chance of not getting your account in trouble. Amazon KDP tip number 37 is to study your competitors. You always want to be aware of and in the know what your competition is doing. So you can check their social media accounts, you can check their websites, you can check their author profile pages on Amazon, you can check their latest books. I would also recommend buying their books so you can see what's inside. Do they have any funnels? Do they have any giveaways? What are they all doing to get sales and to get customers and get email addresses? And what are they all doing to build a brand? Are they doing Amazon ads? Like really get to know them even better than they know themselves. And in all of that knowledge you will start learning, you can then take as inspiration for your own brands and do better and better and better. And then you can also see what they might be missing as part of their brand building, where you can accelerate and do better than they are. Amazon KDP tip number 38 is to check your Amazon ads frequently. So if this is especially true if you have just started a brand new campaign, you don't want to be checking it just once a week or every 2 weeks. If you have a brand new campaign, you definitely want to check it basically daily to make sure you're not wasting money on keywords or targets that are not getting any sales, and just help you be as profitable as possible and to lose as little money as possible. With brand new Amazon ads, it is very, very easy to blow a lot of money without getting any sales or getting really low sales. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. So obviously, if you have some targeted keywords that's gotten maybe 20 clicks without any sales or terrible sales, then you might want to at least lower the cost per click, your bids on that keyword or target. But more likely you would want to turn off that target, maybe even make it as a negative targeting keywords. Or if it's your entire campaign that's going really, really badly, just pausing that campaign and then analyzing your book listing to see what you can do better to improve your Amazon ads results. And then sometimes what can also happen is that one campaign type might do really, really well, but another one does really, really poorly. So it could be that your auto campaign does well, but your keyword campaign does really, really badly. So then you could turn off the keyword targeting campaign and try a category campaign or an ASIN campaign. And if no campaigns are doing well, then you definitely want to take a look at your book listing to see what could be wrong with your listing, of why it's not getting any sales, even if it's getting clicks. Amazon KDP tip number 39 is to try different price points. So some price points can convert much, much lower than others. So you really want to find the sweet spot for your book. And the best way to test that is by changing the prices of your best-selling books. You can increase it or lower it and then watch your bestseller rank go up or down. And if your sales and your profits are increasing, then you know you've taken the right action. But if your sales are going down, then you most likely have not taken the right action. But keep testing out different prices. You can keep one price for 1 week so you can see enough data on the bestseller rank changes to see if it's going better or worse. Maybe even 2 weeks and then changing it back or changing it to something else. So let's try and optimize the data that you can change and the data that you can control to see what the best results are. And racing to the bottom is not always the best. Sometimes being higher price or being the highest priced also has its advantages, especially if you're doing Amazon ads, because then you have more profits and more room to spend on ads. Amazon KDP tip number 40 is to use A+ content on all your top selling books. So if you don't have A+ content on all of your best selling books, that is one thing you can do to potentially further increase your sales and 50% conversion rate on your listing. But if you are doing A+ content on good selling books that haven't had A+ content yet, you really have to make sure that it is high quality, because if you make bad A+ content that is not the best, it will actually drive people away from buying your book, and it can then hurt your sales and your rankings. So whatever you do, always make sure to make it the highest quality and to make it better than what it was then without it. Amazon KDP tip number 41 is to use Amazon Help Center. So the Amazon Help pages, they have so much knowledge that you can really use to your advantage to get better at Amazon KDP, to get more familiar with their whole process. And there they do have a lot of good tips and a lot of good knowledge of what to do and how to do it and what not to do. So I would definitely spend some time, at least weekly, to go through their help pages and just really keep learning. Amazon KDP tip number 42 is to use Amazon KDP live support chat on any questions or any uncertainties that you have about Amazon KDP. Obviously, it is good to ask on Facebook groups or on forums, but if you're just not sure about something, you can always ask them directly. Obviously, Amazon KDP support is not always correct, and they might not have the answers on everything. And some of the people that are on the support team are not from America, and the English might not be the best, but it is always worth trying to get as much data from Amazon as possible. And then if you have a sensitive question, you can even save that email, you can take a screenshot of it or whatever, so you can always refer back to it or send them what they have told you in the past. But always recommend doing that, especially on legal questions. If you have any questions about your money or about your account status or about some legality or anything like that, that would definitely be where I would be using this chat system instead of just going on Facebook. Amazon KDP tip number 43 is to have call of actions inside of your book. So you can have one page dedicated to join your Facebook group, to go to your website, to scan a QR code for a resource, or to leave a review for your book, or to join a mailing list or whatever. You can try different things, but I would definitely recommend having a call to action page where you ask the customer to do at least one thing for you. Amazon KDP tip number 44 is to use Longtail Keywords as part of your 7 backend keywords. I've seen it many times where people just use single words as part of their 7 backend keywords, or just many singular keywords altogether in the 7 backend slots, but I highly recommend using Longtail Keywords as part of your keyword strategy. And if you can, put them in all of your 7 slots, and then if you need or want to, you can add short keywords after that. But I definitely recommend having phrases as part of your 7 backend keyword strategy. And if you want to learn more about the 7 backend keywords and how Clear and I have done it, I have a whole video on this entire topic that you can find on our YouTube channel, and I recommend watching that in full. But this would be one basic tip that I think can really help you with your listings and your sales. So try that out. Amazon KDP tip number 45 is to be careful what graphics you use, especially if you're using a tool like Canva. Unfortunately, not all graphics I use on Canva are trademark free, so that can also get you in trouble potentially. So sometimes on Canva you can find big brands or cartoon characters or movie characters or images that are clearly belonging to a brand. So definitely always stay away from that. Only use generic images or generic graphics. Don't use cartoons or brand names or images that belong to some person or to some company. So definitely be careful when using Canva or tools like that. Amazon KDP tip number 46 is try different book sizes. So try pocket size books, try A4, try 8.5 by 11, try 6 by 9 inches. Try different books and to see what works for your niche. Sometimes every book in a niche is one particular size, and in some cases it can be really great to stand out and be different than the crowd. So if everybody has an 8.5 by 11 book, you can definitely try to make a book that same size, but then you might as well also try making a tiny book or a bigger book, or just trying to be different to see if you can stand out. Or if someone has a rectangular book, try making a square book. Just try to see how you can be different and see what you have best results with. Amazon KDP tip number 47 is to learn from critical reviews. This is important for your own reviews, but you can also do this from competitors. And from those, you can have some of the best learning experiences and really seeing what needs to be done better about a book. And then you can use all of that super insightful and important knowledge to create the best possible books in the future. So try studying negative reviews, seeing what people don't like, and then I think you can really do much better with your future books. Tip number 48 is to reverse engineer top competitors' keywords. So you can do that with a reverse ASIN research tool like the one we have on our website, the Titan's Retro Review tool, or some other tool from Helium 10. But with these tools, you can see keywords that other books are targeting or trying to rank for, or in fact are ranking for. So it's really, really cool. It can be really eye-opening, really inspirational to see all the different keywords that you never thought about or never considered. And then you can take those keywords, or at least take those as inspiration to find other niches yourself and then create books for those niches. Amazon KDP tip number 49 is to do research on Amazon under the all category. Sometimes people are asking whether they should search under books category or all, and we always tell people to search under all. Some people on YouTube have talked about doing the research on books, but the reason we're not in favor for that is because when people are searching on Amazon, in 99% of the cases, they search under all when they're just on the Amazon website. So the reason we want to do our research there is because all the shoppers are doing their initial searches there. So we want to see what they see when they're first starting out shopping on Amazon. So if you have been doing your research under the books category, stop doing that and try doing it in the all category and seeing if you start having better results with your future books. Amazon KDP tip number 50 is to never stop experimenting. Low and medium content books are full of possibilities where you can innovate and create new niches, create new ideas, create new themes, and the limit is literally just your imagination. I mean, there's been lots of niches, especially in coloring books, that never existed before, like the cussword coloring books, for example. No one was searching for them long ago, and now it's a really, really popular niche. So niches can also be created. So you can create different themes, different niches, and just break out from the competitors. And that can be one way to easily get sales, especially if there's a void for some kind of theme or market or anything like that. So keep trying different things out. Don't be afraid to try out things, to be creative, to try things new. And yeah, if you have success of it, obviously double down on it, do more in that niche or more with those themes so you get more and more sales over time. Amazon KDP tip number 51 is to try many kinds of books and kinds of niches. So you really want to diversify your portfolio. If you're only doing notebooks and different niches in notebooks, start getting away from that and also trying medium content books. If you are just doing puzzle and activity books, try doing how-to books or try doing cookbooks. If you are doing kids storybooks, then that's great. You can also try reaching different age groups or different audiences, or you can even try creating an activity book for your kids or creating a notebook that's themed based on your children's books or those stories. Just try different books, different niches, and diversify your portfolio as much as possible because you never know where your biggest success might be. So if you're only trying one type of book or one niche and you're struggling with sales, that can just be the reason. So try it out and see how that goes. Amazon KDP tip number 52 is to try to create books for different age groups. So if you have been creating activity books for adults, also try creating activity books for kids. Or if you have been doing children's books for toddlers, then try creating children's books for a little bit higher age kids or maybe for teenagers. And if you have been creating planners or journals for girls, then maybe try creating it for teenagers or for women. Just try different fields. And in each of the different fields, you can also try creating different themed covers for. So your covers for women might look different than covers for men, or generic covers might look different than a themed cover. Or you can also try doing it with flowers. You can try it with a space theme or with a summer theme or a winter theme. Just get creative and try different themes and different age groups and different kinds of books and seeing where you get the best results. Amazon KDP tip number 53 is to try different designs and then getting feedback on those designs. So instead of just doing one design, try doing 3 designs or 5 cover designs for a book and then asking your friends or asking family or asking on Facebook which cover they prefer. Because what you might like the best might not be liked the most by other people. So it's really, really great to get feedback, and the feedback can also be used to improve your design overall. So also when you're doing the surveys with your friends or your family or on Facebook, you can also ask for general tips or improvements of what people don't like about your design so you can keep improving that. And most of those feedback are probably really valuable and will help you get more sales and better click-through rates and better conversion rates. So this is something I would definitely do with your future books and even past books that might not be selling as much as they could be. Amazon KDP tip number 54 is that if you are an experienced publisher and have gotten good results with Amazon KDP, to start trying out in the holiday themed books. So if you're doing coloring books, activity books, puzzle books, or kids books, if it's Christmas time or Halloween time, making your books and covers themed based on those time periods. those books can do extremely well, getting incredibly high sales, but obviously those time periods are extremely competitive because all of the most experienced publishers will be aware of this fact. So I would only recommend doing that if you have some experience with Amazon KDP. If you're brand new, I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you are, I think you should definitely start getting your feet wet with different themed books: Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, back to school type of books. And I think you can do really well. The only thing that's sad about that is that obviously those time periods are short. So once it is over, those books will stop selling until the next year again. So that's why I also recommend for beginners to only work on evergreen niches. And evergreen niches are the type of niches that sell all year long. Amazon KDP tip number 55 is to diversify your income. I'm a big believer that Amazon KDP should not be your only income source, but then expanding that from there. So one great example is also doing Etsy. So if you have a coloring book brand, then you can also sell your coloring pages as digital download products on Etsy. If you have a children's storybook brand, then you can also sell merch on Etsy related to your book, or you can just do Etsy totally separate from your KDP business, and on there you can sell any kinds of digital products. You can sell templates, Google Sheet templates, you can sell print-on-demand products from Printify or other platforms. You can also sell customizable products. Etsy has a huge variety of different products you can sell, and if you're only doing Amazon KDP but not trying on other platforms, you actually never know which ones will give you the best results. Some people have good results with Amazon KDP, but then they do even better with Etsy. Try that out. You can also try out Merch by Amazon. If you didn't get approved for Merch by Amazon, you can also buy a Merch by Amazon account. Those are easy to find. You can also do Amazon FBA. You can sell products on Facebook Marketplace. You can create a blog and make money with YouTube AdSense. You can do YouTube videos, make money that way. You can try becoming an affiliate. You can do social media marketing. You can become a social media influencer. You can create a course. There's so many different things you can try. You can also become a freelancer. So there's many different things you can do. And I just think you should have different income sources so you don't fully depend on one. Because if one income source gets shut down, if your account gets blocked or something like that, you instantly lose all of your income. But if you have different income streams, you have just more security, and you can also see which ones you enjoy the most, which ones you do best at. And yeah, so I hope this video has been useful for you, and then let me know down in the comments what else you want to see in the future. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and then I'll see you soon. Bye.